be a script, and that would be, you know, the whole word JavaScript. However, you just evaded the filter because it didn't actually pick up the JavaScript didn't pick up the breaks, but MySpace saw the breaks, or any site for that matter saw the breaks. And that site that I have posted, ha.ckers.org/xss.html, that has extremely, extremely good ways to evade cross-site scripting filters. It's used as a cheat sheet. That's actually what it's called if you go to the site. It's a cheat sheet of just tons of information on how to evade the filters and tons of information on how to enter it into a URL and try to beat it using different encoding. I mean, if you go to that site and you take one of their links, you really don't even have to do any work. All you have to do is enter your own web server in there with the file that you need. Now what we're going to talk about to do with the URL, and if you don't have a MySpace account and you wanted to try this, you need one. Sorry about that. I know a lot of people avoid MySpace because it's kind of retarded sometimes. It's kind of lame at points too. But for this particular example, you kind of need one. After you take the link that you created, which is encoded in a hex to evade the filter, you can distribute it to any number of people. Bulletins, chat rooms, forums, classifieds, messages, any of those things would work perfectly fine. My favorite was posting bulletins on a fake account. Obviously, I wouldn't use my main account because people would be mad at me. I can't do that. And then people would click it. And I'm actually going to show you in a moment. I'm going to show you the cookie log itself it's my live cookie log right now, so don't be looking at it too hard. And yeah, so you need a MySpace account, and you can distribute it in any way you like. A couple of the things actually filter more than others. So for a while, forums where you basically didn't do anything, so you could post anything you wanted on a forum. As far as JavaScript and whatnot, they didn't filter anything for some reason, like they didn't keep up with it. So that was a good one for a while. More interesting methods, you could actually have it do automatically. Like the way we have it set up here and the way I'm showing you, the user has to click a link, which isn't a big deal because the front of the link, as you saw, started with searchresults.myspace. So if they were just to, mouse over and say, oh, searchresults.myspace, and you know how it truncates the link towards the end, so it just puts ... You don't actually see the cross-site scripting in the link itself, so it looks normal to most people. Most people will click it without even thinking about it because they see, search.myspace doesn't look bad, it looks fine to me, so then you would click it. But there's actually other ways to embed various things into your page or anywhere that would just automatically do it. They won't even need to click anything. All they would need to view a page, which they would normally view. You could even post it on their home page. So they go to their own home page, you post it in their comments, and they just did it. And you don't even have to do anything more than that. But a couple ways to do that was the QuickTime virus, like I talked about. That's patched. I don't think there's any way really around it, although I've heard some things about doing it some certain ways. The new one, which hasn't been fully implemented on MySpace, but a lot of people have been messing around with it, is putting scripts in a JPEG image and changing the htaccess file to take the image as text. All you got to do is add a line into the htaccess on your server that you're running it, and then it will actually take the image as text and run the script, and you can embed it just like an image. IMGSRC, the normal HTML code to do it. It'll do it like that. Iframes on different sites. A recent exploit that I heard about used iframes on your own site, and because it did domain generalization. It was a big thing about how MySpace, if you link off of another site, they don't filter any sort of JavaScript at all, if that makes sense. You could put an iframe on your own page that links to MySpace in the iframe, and since you're in the iframe on your own page, it doesn't have any JavaScript filtering, so you can type whatever the hell you want to in there. No big deal. Or something I did for a while was ActionScript using Flash. You can have a little Flash animation on your page that at the same time is stealing their cookie, because it's sending them to a link in like another small box or a pop-up or an iframe, and they wouldn't even notice because you're just playing a regular Flash file. Many of the methods, like I said, have been used, reported, and patched. A lot of these have been patched. MySpace is pretty strict about iframes right now, so you can't really do too much with them. Unless, like I talked about, you do it on your own domain. It's another whole presentation. You could talk about that for half an hour. There are a ton of methods that yet to be discovered. Anything that you can think about that you can run a script and may not be filtered, you can do it. whether it be, maybe a Windows Media file or some other sort of QuickTime type virus, some other sort of flash, because, MySpace is trying to cut away with, a lot of you probably know the code to just using HTML to embed SRC, embed source, and they filter that. But there's other ways to do it. And if you can do that, then you can still probably use the flash method. Okay. Once you've logged a cookie after someone's clicked it, you're going to see that. That's the cookie. Looks like nothing right now. I'm actually going to show you my desktop not popping up. There's my cookie log right now. This is actually, I just pulled it off my server before you guys walked in the room. Since I saved it as a text file, it has no formatting, and it goes forever. But you can see, if you, let's see, what am I seeing here? Let's see if I can pick anything out right away. There's email addresses in here, so you can go tell the person who clicked my link, hey, you're retarded, you clicked this kid's link. There's something that says Rafflecopter. Not sure why it's there, but Rafflecopter's in there. Maybe that was the link. Oh, this is my buddy Brian's page. He clicked my link. Let's see. Yeah, but this basically, obviously this looks like complete crap. You're not going to be able to pull anything interesting out of this at the moment. I'll tell you in a minute what you need. There's an email address. Don't know who that is, but they clicked it. Or they clicked it to someone else. Oh, Rolling Fungi. Oh, there you go. I don't get that either. But hey, you know what? All right, back to this. All right, so you have this. Once you log the cookie, you get that. You go into your log, which is probably stored in the same file that you have stored in the same folder as you stored your CGI file in. That's where it is for me anyway. This is the portion that we want, though. My user info. It usually ends with a semicolon. So after that last R, there'll be a semicolon, and that usually signifies the end of my user info. And that is the user session, the live session that they just clicked, you now have. Say hello to the user session because you now have it, obviously. I'll talk about why time is of the essence in a moment, but it is. What you have to do from this point, though, is log into MySpace, if you normally would. Pick a cookie editor of your choice for your browser. I use Firefox, so I use add and edit cookies. And basically, you open it up. And like it says there, most of them work nice. It's a cookie editor. You can't mess that up too much. And then you can even do it the old-fashioned way if you want to just go into your temp files and edit it. That's going to do the same thing, but cookie editor's a lot quicker. And like I said, time is sometimes of the essence, all the time actually. So you find your current MySpace cookie for looking something similar to the one that I just pulled up, the big long one. You want the whole cookie, look for that in yours. So take the person's My User Info, copy paste it, go to your cookie, find your My User Info, paste over it, save the cookie, and refresh your browser. And then you are now the person. You're on their home page and you are them. If there's anything else. And like it says there, you're now logged in, and to confirm, look at the top of the screen, make sure it says welcome. And a name that is probably really lame and involves some bad music, because that's what a lot of people have on MySpace as their display names. Or, like my black heart soul in August, or something retarded like that. Just look for something lame. That isn't yours, obviously. And rejoice, because you did it. You're done. You are now them. Do anything you want to. Like it says, one thing you can do, there's a number of things you can actually do once you're logged in. You can distribute your link. You can start taking the same link you sent to that person and post a bulletin on their page. Send the link to all their friends. And then you can fish for passwords if you're really lame. I don't do that, though, because it's stupid. I'd much rather just do it the hard way. Come on. You could ruin relationships, too. A lot of people have friends that they really like, or girlfriends or whatnot, boyfriends, whatnot on MySpace. If you get on their MySpace, you could send bad messages to people and ruin some relationships. I wouldn't recommend that, though. Other friendly hijinks, you go on your friend's page and post porn. Other things, goatsy, right at the main page. Write huge, just blow it up, no big deal. And you can also do anything that the person who normally authenticated do. Besides, you can't change your password because you don't know it. That's the only thing you can't really do. You don't know the password. All you did was copy paste the cookie, so you can't do that. But anything you normally could do, no big deal. And like it says there, from here on out, it's all you. Whatever you do with the information I just gave you and whatnot, that's all what you do and whatever you feel like doing with it. Limitations of this, like I said, time is of the essence. The session only lasts until the user actually clicks the logout button. If they click your link and they're somewhat computer savvy and they notice, oh wow, I just got redirected to some page and nothing's going on, then they might, close their browser instead of hitting back. If they close their browser, that automatically logs you out of MySpace, unless you have some sort of automatic thing or you have downloads open or something. So it only lasts until they log out. So you need to actually do it before they log out. There may be a way to set the cookie to never expire. That also is the case if you have this cookie, you copy paste it into your browser, you're now them, and if they log out and you log out, it's gone. Not going to help you. But there may be a way to actually set it to never expire. I've never actually got it to work, but I've heard of people that have. So I'm sure there's a way to do it. If you're more savvy than me, maybe you can do it. Another limitation is if the person does notice something's wrong, say you go to their page and post Goatse, they're going to know who did it probably because they just clicked the link, something weird happened, and now they have Goatse. So, they might figure out whose link they clicked and that it was you and not be happy with you. And you may hurt your friend's feelings. There's a little sad face to make sure that you know that that's a bad thing. You don't want to do that. This month actually was the unofficial month of MySpace bugs. I don't know if any of you saw that. Because of such, all the decent zero-day exploits were overrun by script kiddies, and MySpace fixed them all. So I had nothing good to show you guys that I could actually demonstrate. So sorry about that. Everything good was ruined. I'm not a big fan of month of MySpace bugs. No offense to anybody who's friends with them or knows them or is trying to help out. No offense. What they're doing is they're kind of lame about it. So sad face again. That's a bad thing. Dangers of XSS, there are a lot, but I'm going to go through a couple. Vulnerabilities on sites are found daily, to any site you can imagine that uses dynamic web applications. Usually big sites, no one really cares about small sites. But if you go to any given security site, I use Packetstorm Security, Millworm sometimes has them, Slackers.org has them. That's like a site for web application security and whatnot. Often, cross-site scripting is overlooked and considered not critical because they're so prevalent that people think, they're all over the place. Why is someone going to pick mine? You know what I mean? Sites like that. And because of that, and because of laziness or money or whatever other reason, they're not patched or fixed for long periods of time. MySpace obviously does it, but they have so many that they can't keep up with it. But they do it because, it's like multi-millions of users. So they do it because, they try to make people happy, which doesn't really make any sense because it's free, but whatever. It could lead to leaking personal information, like I talked about a little bit. It could lead to, this isn't on MySpace, obviously. You don't enter your credit card on MySpace. I'm talking about just in general. It could leak into personal information, credit card fraud, identity theft, or worse. I'm not sure exactly why I put worse because I can't think of anything worse that you could do unless they stalk and kill you with your personal information. But that's about the worst it can get. But either way, you don't want to get your credit card stolen or identity theft or all that junk anyway. A lot of corporate websites, banks, etc., schools have tons of these vulnerabilities all over them. So if the site uses cookies and you have found a cross-site scripting vulnerability, you can exploit it just like you would have, like I just showed you how to do on MySpace. Same thing. Even if they don't use cookies, you can still use it to exploit various things. You could still send it to redirect someone and have them type in. If it has a cross-site scripting, you could set up your own fake phishing page on a bank, which is a lot more profitable, I would imagine, than the phishing page on MySpace, because you can do a lot more with the credit card numbers. And it also, a lot of other sites also contain other web vulnerabilities, which I'm not going to cover because there are hundreds of thousands. How to protect yourself from cross-site scripting, it's kind of logical. Just log out of MySpace when you're done. Don't let it sit there for hours and hours. Don't click links that look funny. If you can tell that the links look kind of retarded, you probably shouldn't click it. Don't check Remember Me, because that actually is the one that you saw my couple people's email addresses in there. When you click Remember Me, that sends it to your cookies. If you don't check that, your email address isn't going to be in the cookie. Not that it really matters, because they already have your cookie and they're going to log in anyway, but still. You could download an IDS for your browser, which is Intrusion Detection System, if you didn't know what that means. You can actually get that for Firefox now. There's a pretty good couple decent ones out. I'm pretty sure there's a couple for Internet Explorer as well. Don't quote me on that. And all of these principles can be used outside of MySpace. If you're on a bank website, don't leave it open. If you see a link that looks funny for a bank, don't click it. Don't check remember. I never check. I mean, one of our policies, like I said,